but good afternoon, guys. I really enjoyed the lectures today, and I was astounded, meeting a lot of you guys during the break to see how professional you guys are, how serious you are. And I really thought to myself, you're going to need to work hard during this presentation to add value to this audience. And I'm Israeli. I'm not just saying it to flatter. I seriously mean it. So I thought to myself, how can I, really add value to you? And to do that, I'm going to ask you the first thing. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand in the air. And please raise your hand in the air and clap once. Now, look at your left side on the curtain there, please. And obviously, the curtain is not there, and this is not your left side. And this brings me to how can I add value to you guys. People do what we ask them to do. I asked you to clap, and you agreed. I asked you to look to your left to the curtain, and your left and the curtain is over there. But you don't only respond to what I'm asking you to do, you also have to respond to the way I stand and to what I'm pointing at. And if I want to add value during this lecture, I think the value should be not only tell people what to do, show them in the background what to do. And a good example is those two landing pages. If you look at the guy here, he points out to the button, okay? If he would stand away from the button, I'm sure that the conversion rate would decrease dramatically. And those guys that watch the movie, they watch the movie, and the movie is exactly where the field and the button are. So again, you clapped your hand because I asked you. When you use a landing page, ask people what to do. Tell them what you want them to do, and they will do it. I'm always amazed to see more and more, landing pages or regularly pages that once you are clear about what you want the user to do and you put it on a button, they do it. And I'll show you some demonstration on things that you don't think enough, and you ask the wrong thing from a user, and it does it as well. And the second thing is we don't pay attention enough to the background, to the way we, put the image in the ad, where the person is facing, where is he pointing. And I demonstrated it to you guys. Most of you looked to your right because I pointed there. In Israel, we do it with the forehead and the chin many times. You know the game when we're kids. So misleading people is the wrong way to do it. Pointing out on the right direction where you want them to be is the good thing and the good way. So let's see what we're going to talk about. And today, a few of the basic. I'm really going to skip that because I know most of you know the terms. Then we're going to talk about the 8-second rules, the time that the user takes to decide if you're going to stay in your website or you're going to leave. How to design it with media, when you buy AdWords, when you buy banners in different media platforms. And then a bit about the funnel and where you add it and how to maximize it. And then I'm going to finish with some Google solutions. So I'm going to skip the basics mainly, but I'm trying to remember, I want you to remember that it really takes them a second or 2 seconds to decide. We put a lot of time into the web design, into the landing pages, and we really think of every word and every term that we put there. But most of the people will only put, a few seconds in your page. So it should really be appealing, and we should remember that. Appealing and simple. Most of the shopping carts are abandoned. You know that already. And the negative perception of a website that doesn't make people, do what they came to do affects your brand even afterwards. So I'm going to skip the jargon, and I'm going to talk about conversion rate. You probably know the funnel, okay? You have your funnel, you check it in your analytics. But even beforehand, we need to understand that some of the users won't even count in analytics because they haven't spent enough time in our website. The majority of users will not spend more than 8 seconds in your website or landing page before they decide if they're going to leave or stay. And then those that decided that they want to convert, those that decided that they want to leave details or buy something, many of them would abandon your shopping cart during this process, and only a bunch would really convert. Now, a great way that was launched in the past year in Google is remarketing. And I keep seeing how effective this is for many advertisers. Because if somebody came to your funnel and started the conversion process, but for some reason he left, you can retarget him in some other site. And another aspect of remarketing that I keep on hearing is that people don't understand what remarketing is and how it works. You might understand it, but most people don't understand. And what happens is that your users or your potential clients came to your website, which is, I don't know, arielshopping.com. And they decided to left in the middle of the process, and then they kept seeing those banners for Ariel Shopping. So they start thinking, I didn't know Ariel Shopping was such a serious website. I didn't know it's all over the place. I mean, I see him here, I see him there. And the most common a website is to the person, then the willingness grows to purchase or to leave details in this website. So they go on and they finish the cycle. So there's a lot of added value in remarketing to these people that think that you are all over the place, you must be big, you must be serious if you advertise so many in so many sites. So how do we overcome the 8 seconds rule? As I told you before, people do what you tell them to do. So if you have those links on the right side, they will click on them. If you have those links that tell you learn more or Windows 8 version of Skype, and this is the example, they will click on it. And they will not do what you really want them to do, which is download now. So overcoming the 8 second rules means being simple. Don't make them think. Okay? Have a one button, clear of what you want them to do. Don't make them decide. Don't make them take decisions. You're probably aware of a heat map like that. You can see on the left side that there are also added links. Added links mean added attention. They don't put all the attention in what you want them to do. They start moving around. Try to avoid that. Also, there's above the fold and below the fold. Many of the web designers are using, the best computer that is achievable in those days with the highest speed. And when they show you the website or the landing page that they've created, or you show it to your colleagues, it looks fantastic. But do you check it in other screen resolutions? Do you check it in other computer? Do you check it on mobile or in iPad or other tablets? I'm not sure. Try to keep it always above the fold. What's important should be above the fold, and what's less important should be below. Some people think that putting all the added info below the fold can actually improve conversion, because we are not all the same people. Some of us, wants to quickly decide, do whatever makes sense, click here to download. And some of us want to research a bit more. So dividing the above the fold and below the fold for this kind of people and the other kind of people also can increase conversions. The people that want quick decisions would click above, and the people that want to research would scroll down. Lots of photos. Again, I pointed to the right. I told you left, but you didn't listen because you looked at me. We are interested in people. We are interested in photos. When we look in the newspapers, every year there are more photos and less text in the Israeli newspapers. And this is because we are more interested in that. And this brings us the experience even more. So lots of atmosphere, lots of pictures of the product or the value that the product will give you is great. A great example I heard once from a friend was that when he went to the supermarket, next to the potatoes, he didn't see an ad buy potatoes. He saw an ad for French fries, exactly, French fries. So they showed him the value, because if you look at a potato, try to imagine a potato. Does this look tasty to you? Do you want to grab it and bite? Probably not, but try to imagine now hot French fries in a nice dish. You can see the steam in your imagination. I can see it in your eyes. You want to grab it and put it in a bar of ketchup and eat it. So show in the pictures, in the photos, the value, not always the product, okay? If you look at landing pages, they don't exist, you know, just in the air. People came to those landing pages from somewhere, and people will live from those landing pages to hopefully the thank you page. You need to bear that in mind. Many times we are a bit lazy. We build one page, one landing page for whoever we're bringing to the site, and we settle for that. So if we look at the example here, someone is searching for a Bellagio Hotel Las Vegas, and you can bring him to the Expedia homepage. You can do even a better job and bring him to a casino in Las Vegas, okay? Do you think people would convert better if I'm bringing them to this page rather than the general homepage? Probably yes. And you can do even better by bringing them to the exact place, the Bellagio Hotel, bringing them to exactly where they wanted to be. So it's a bit more work, but if you're working with search engines or other media, try to understand what is the audience that you're bringing, what is he interested in, and sending them to the right place. With Google, it's very easy because you probably can tell from the search query what they are interested in. Another example of that can be dividing your audiences into two segments. It can be guys and girls, it can be grown-ups and childs, or it can be researchers and buyers or converters. So if somebody is searching for reviews on computers, they are researching now for a computer. Okay, they are probably not in this instant that they are going to buy now. But when somebody is searching for buying a computer, they are ready to convert. So if you give them a great deal, okay, if I'm looking at the last lecture, I'm putting in the title, last minute or 48 hours to close the deal, you can buy it now. That's a great ad for them, but it's not a great ad or not a great page for the guy that was searching for reviews. So different landing page for different segments and also different bidding, because somebody that is ready and boiled to buy now, you might be able to bid a bit more, makes sense to you in order to increase conversion. Same goes for display advertising. People like to know where they came from and where they're going and feel that they're in the same path, okay? Nothing is changing. So if they've seen this guy in the airplane and the Nivea products in the banner, you should show it to them in the landing pages. Don't surprise them too much. Make them feel at home. Make them feel there's a continuity. And if the banner worked pretty well for you guys because they clicked on it after all, then it makes sense to put the same image in the landing page. Making them convert is always, the tough part. And I don't need to teach you guys that short forms are the key. Now, every marketer that you asked him, they would tell you they want more data. They want more information. They want to know if it's a female or if it's a male, what age are they, and where did they come from. So the normal question I ask people is, what are you going to do with this information? Now I'm telling you that 90% of the time, it's just, I don't know, I want to know that. I want to know that. It's interesting. Isn't it interesting if it's a male or a woman? Isn't it interesting if they came from, a brochure or from online or from somewhere? It is interesting, but it is not converting. So always ask yourself, do I really need to know the zip code? Do I really need to give them a password? Do I really need all that bunch of stuff? And many times the answer is no, you don't have to know all this information. You just want them to click here and buy. So what are the other best practices on forms? Have the cursor blinking. If it's blinking, then it's a call for action. Okay, put your details here. The tab key should be working. And many times I see tab key that, moves from the upper corner to the left corner. I don't know how they build this stuff. Example, if it's, in Google many times, or in, local directories, you can see search for plumber, New York. They tell you what to search, plumber, New York. And this makes your search easier, because otherwise you could have just searched plumber. So you could have just searched New York, or not combined the two. Progress bar is great if your form is huge. And there are other points here. I'll skip them because we are short of time. And this is a button that I really see a lot of time, and again relates to the stuff I told you at the beginning of the lecture. I asked you to clap your hand. You clapped your hands. If I ask you to reset the form, you will reset the form. If I give you the option to reset the form, to clean all the feeds, some of the people would do it. Some of the people would do it just because it's an option. Some of the people would do it because it's just next to the bottom and they got confused. And who do you think is the biggest company in the online marketing that I assisted in removing this button? Do you have a guess? Google. When I arrived to Google 3 years ago, there was this huge, nice form, lots of fields, unnecessary fields. Most of them we didn't look at. And there was at the end of it, contact the salesperson. There was reset form or submit form. So many times it's just, the webmaster brought this, template from somewhere, and the button exists. And there is no point in resetting the form. So obviously, after I removed this button and shortened a bit the form, conversion climbed very much higher. Some buttons today are more sophisticated. They give you added value. What would happen after you click the button, okay? A representative will call you within 24 hours. We will not use this information to send you spam. Phone numbers, very important. If you heard the first lecture, if you're doing affiliates, maybe you should remove them. But phone numbers really help to convert. There are some people that would only call. And there are techniques today and technology that can help you measure conversion through cell phones and telephone numbers. I'm finishing now, right to the summary. So I'll just end this lecture by saying, first impression, okay? Be simple. Make it simple. Don't make them think. Tell them what you want them to do. Second, technical issue, think of how to make it easier for them, help them to convert, remove all the obstacles from their way, and all the psychology. Don't just think, on the best practices that you read from the books. There's a lot of psychology. How do you stand? How is the image standing? What do you show? Do you show the product or do you show the value? And obviously test everything, because testing is the key. We never really know what would work better. Thank you very much, and happy to be here.